Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Mauricio, would you like to call the roll?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Lama?
Here.
Commissioner Goldman?
Here. Here.
Okay, Commissioner Goldman is here. Vice Mayor Sechin?
Here.
And for the record, Commissioner Vizcarra is here. We're just having technical difficulties with her laptop.
Okay. I'll vouch for her. I saw her on the screen earlier.
Yeah.
We all saw her.
And Mayor Scholl.
And Mayor Scholl is here. Thank you. Commissioner Goldman, would you like to lead the Pledge of Allegiance this evening?
Indeed. Okay. All rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag of the United States
of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
which is
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Rabbi Haber, if Mauricio turns you on, now you can talk. Rabbi Haber's here for the invocation.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, you're on mute, Rabbi Haber. Just take yourself off mute and you're good to go. There you go. Welcome.
Heavenly Father, we call upon you to help all residents of our local community, as well as the rest of our country, to come together in brotherhood and unity. We ask for your mercy in ending the pandemic and restoring good health to the entire world. Our Father in heaven, may it be your will that we all join together to achieve divine dignity in all of humanity. In this pivotal time in our country, bless us, Almighty, to overcome social, racial, and religious strife. Bless us with solidarity to promote tolerance and goodwill. We ask, merciful Father, to bless our civic leaders here in Sunny Isles and their colleagues in all of Florida and the entire United States, to protect each other's way of life, to appreciate one another's commonality as well as each other's values, respecting one another's rights to those who may look different, speak a different language, or raise and educate their children according to their ancestral traditions. May we always remember that we're blessed to live in a land, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oseh shalom b'momav, uyaseh shalom aleinu. He who makes peace in his high places, may he bring peace upon all of us. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Rabbi. That was lovely. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Albeit
Nice to see you
virtually,
too.
but good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Item 3A is we have summary minutes from the hybrid regular city commission meeting. And I think we had a minor change to those as well. Do I hear an approval?
So moved.
Motion to? Okay, you're a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the minutes are approved. I'm going to read my general opening statement, and then we're off to the races here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you for joining us tonight. Please ensure that your microphone is muted to avoid interrupting the proceedings tonight. Individuals who want to speak on any item on the agenda are asked to use the raise hand function, which is located by the following steps. If you're using an iPad, tap the center of your screen, tap on the three dots located at the top right-hand corner, and select raise hand. If you're using a desktop, click on Participants at the bottom of your screen, which opens a side window listing all the participants. On the participant screen, click on the 3 dots on the bottom left-hand corner and select Raised Hand. If you called in and are listening on your phone, dial *9 to raise your hand, and the city clerk will call on you based on the last 4 digits of your phone number. When called upon, please state your name and address for the record. Speakers may also use the chat function to submit their comments and questions. These chats are only available to the commission, and the host or chair will read it into the record. The chat function is located at the bottom of the screen. Please make sure to type in your name and address for the record. Speakers are asked to speak to the issues, make comments concise and to the point, and refrain from making duplicate comments. All speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. If you exceed the 3-minute allotment, the chair will advise you to finish your comment, and if you don't adhere to the chair's advice, your microphone will be shut off. After item 7B, the commission will recess and convene as the local planning agency for approval of the LPA resolution relating to the zoning moratorium extension. The LPA will adjourn and the commission will reconvene. There are changes to tonight's agenda. We're going to defer item 5E, which was the 2020 Employee of the Year Award. We're going to add on item 10J, which is a resolution condemning hate and extremism. And we're going to add on item 12A, which is a discussion regarding adopting a resolution regarding the Florida Surgeon General's determination for COVID vaccines. May I have a motion to accept these changes to tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay. I have a State of the City address tonight, and I'm going to read into the record. It's a long one because we had a big year, so bear with me. But you know, as we all know, by charter, once a year, by the end of January, the mayor's required to put together a State of the City address, and this is my State of the City address for the beginning of 2021. I'm pleased to present the 2021 State of the City address to our community. This is my 7th State of the City. To say that 2020 was an unprecedented year would be an understatement. The coronavirus pandemic tested us on a scale we never anticipated. But Sunny Isles Beach and our residents, citizens, stepped up. I'm proud of our staff's response efforts and our citizen support. To start on a promising note, the city's financial condition remains strong, with our assessed value increasing by nearly 4%, from $11.5 billion to $11.9 billion. Our budget kept the same millage rate at 2.2 mills per thousand of assessed value. For an unprecedented 4th year, our city proposed a tax rate below the rollback rate. As a result of reduced revenues and additional expenses due to the pandemic, we experienced operating shortfalls of an estimated $2 million and capital fund shortfalls of an estimated $6 million. To make up for these shortfalls, we are delaying certain capital projects and cutting back where possible in the operating budget while not impacting city services. Bottom line, we're not raising taxes. A couple of long-awaited development projects were completed this year, which helped maintain our financial health. In 2020, the Milton Tower and Armani Casa both received certificates of occupancy, or a CO. Ritz-Carlton residents and Turnberry Ocean Club were issued temporary certificates of occupancies, and their COs are expected in 2021. When we entered 2020, hopes were high, but unfortunately, the coronavirus pandemic hindered most of our plans. Like the rest of the world, COVID-19 changed the way our government functioned. We were thrust into an unknown situation and learned as we went. South Florida was first affected on March 9th when the state of Florida declared a state of emergency. Shortly after, Miami-Dade County and the city of Sunny Isles Beach declared local states of emergency, which awarded us certain authorities to put restrictions in place, such as a stricter curfew, limiting construction activities, and additional rules when in public places, as well as to be eligible for state and federal funding for assistance programs. But we also had to follow the hierarchical structure of government, meaning our city must adhere to the rules put in place by Miami-Dade County and the state of Florida. By the end of March, Miami-Dade County and the state issued orders closing all non-essential businesses and services, including parks, beaches, and recreational facilities. The county urged residents to stay at home, and the city took their order one step further by ordering residents to remain at home except for engaging in essential activities. We took a firm, proactive approach in order to mitigate the spread of the coronavirus in our community. However, When the state and county began their phased reopening in May, we complied and assisted in the enforcement of all mandates and guidelines. Despite the disruption the pandemic caused, city operations remained largely uninterrupted, with City Hall remaining open at all times. Every department became essential in keeping the government running in the safest manner possible. Although the pandemic required to cut back costs, departments utilized cross-training and reallocated staff to provide support in the areas needed rather than lay off employees. The Public Works Department kept our city facilities and public spaces sanitized and safe for staff and eventually residents. The Building Department began conducting inspections virtually, and the City Clerk's office moved up regular City Commission meetings to a safe virtual and then hybrid format that you're experiencing this evening. Code compliance was on the front lines to ensure compliance and a safe and successful reopening for all businesses. I also want to commend the Police Department for their work on the front lines, enforcing closures and the curfew, as well as educating the public about key safety guidelines. The Cultural and Community Services Department was tasked with finding socially distanced alternatives to engage with the community. This resulted in several virtual and socially distanced events, such as a drive-through graduation ceremony, back-to-school backpack giveaways, month-long Halloween activities, and a walk-through holiday display. CCS was able to quickly move programs intended to be in person to a video format available to view on YouTube or SIB TV. They offered an assortment of virtual classes for all ages. Our monthly Mount Sinai lecture series transitioned to Facebook Live, and teens were given monthly opportunities to hang out virtually. Media became a necessity in keeping us connected in our community, and we were all staying home and in-person socializing was barred. It was imperative that we provided the community with timely, engaging, and important information while being transparent and forthcoming when it came to safety guidelines, closures, restrictions, and reopenings. From social media and emails to the website and emergency alerts, our media team shared as much as possible, as fast as possible, and as often as possible. Assisting our community was also a top priority for us. We made more than 2,000 food deliveries to seniors and low-income families since March and partnered with FarmShare to host a drive-through food distribution. Staff made welfare check phone calls to nearly 350 residents, particularly seniors, and we set up a dedicated COVID-19 hotline. The city also partnered with the University of Miami to host free pediatric COVID-19 testing. The Code Compliance and Police Departments distributed masks to residents, and Code also extended business tax receipt renewals until February 2021 to grant extra time for local businesses to submit payments. Our Finance Department managed FEMA and CARES Act funding reimbursements, and the city was able to provide up to $200,000 in grants for housing assistance through the Miami-Dade County CARES Act funding. We also received aid from our friends around the world. Pingtung County in Taiwan, home of our sister city, Hangcheng, graciously donated PPE to us during the early months of the pandemic when supplies were scarce. The pandemic brought our world to a halt, and Sunny Isles Beach has tactfully weathered the storm. Though we are not out of the woods yet, we've learned some critical lessons and will take some of the adjustments we made to our operations and incorporate them on a permanent basis. Throughout 2020, we were challenged to be better, and I'm confident that we as a community will come out stronger. 2020 also brought forth some of our most prevalent community conversations, one being pedestrian safety and traffic. Traffic and speeding on Collins Avenue are a constant citizen concern, and the city manager's office petitioned the Florida Department of Transportation to reduce the speed limit for the fourth time since 2002. Once again, our request was denied, keeping the speed limit on Collins Avenue at 35 miles an hour. However, our police department increased visibility in the community and is always promoting best practices through safety campaigns and education. Radar speed detection signs were placed in densely trafficked locations throughout the city, and PD participated in multi-agency traffic safety enforcement and educational detail focused on aggressive and distracted driving, speeding, and bike pedestrian safety. We took another step forward in improving the safety of the city with the installation of license plate readers, or LPR cameras, at the 3 Golden Shores neighborhood entrances. Looking to the future, we plan to place LPR cameras on all public roads leading to our major thoroughfares. Safety along Collins Avenue will improve with 2 new pedestrian bridges in the works. The permanent plans for the bridge at 180th Street are expected to be approved by the Florida Department of Transportation by March, and the city will be going out to bid for construction by the 3rd quarter of the year. In 2021, FDOT will commence several projects in our city, beginning with preventative maintenance on the William Layman Causeway and the installation of a signalized pedestrian crosswalk at 189th Street. The FDOT will also be starting the Sunny Isles Beach Bridge project, focused on rehabilitating the bridge at 163rd Street. Once that's complete, they will move on to a roadway rehabilitation and repaving project on Sunny Isles Boulevard. Along Collins Avenue, there are currently 131 newly operating streetlights, with the completion of all 161 new fixtures expected by mid-year. You may have noticed some additional light and festive cheer on the road this winter, and the decor was a direct result of the progress of the street light project. The Golden Shores undergrounding and street lighting are progressing as planned as well, with engineers working alongside FP&L to prepare the detailed plans and bid documents for the undergrounding project. In December 2020, we awarded a contract for the Golden Shores street lighting with estimated completion in 2021. Flood control is always top of mind, and this year we received relentless amounts of rain. However, our forward-thinking flood control efforts mitigated widespread flooding. In 2020, we purchased 4 high-capacity portable pumps that are available to relieve flooding anywhere in the city when needed. Our Public Works Department maintained the storm drains, ensuring that they were regularly cleaned of debris and other obstructions. Because of shortfalls in our capital budget from pandemic-related costs, we've reevaluated our current capital projects, and one significant saving is coming from repairs of the existing Golden Shores pump station instead of a complete rebuild of the entire facility. We also resurrected the original plans for a new stormwater pump station to serve the central island of the city. This is the only remaining area of significant flooding in Sunny Isles Beach, but this flooding even dissipates very quickly. 2020 was a record year for sustainability in Sunny Isles Beach. At the start of the year, we launched our new campaign, E-Committed, with the purpose of promoting and fostering more eco-driven adjustments that everyone can make to their daily lives. Subsequently, we passed an ordinance that prohibits specific uses of plastic straws and also added reusable buckets along the beach for beachgoers to fill with trash during their strolls. The city partnered with FPL to install electric vehicle charging stations at several municipal lots around the city where residents and visitors can charge their vehicle for free. Sunny Isles Beach received the Tree City USA designation as a result of our participation in the Miami-Dade County Neat Streets program, with their goal of planting 1 million trees in the county. Another beach renourishment project took place in 2020 at the north end of the city to 185th Street, adding 48,000 cubic yards of sand to the shore. Through the public art program, the city benefited from 2 new privately owned pieces. At the Milton Tower at the corner of Sunny Isles Boulevard and Collins Avenue is Mariposas by artist Manolo Valdez, and the Ritz-Carlton residence is home to an 11.5-foot marble sculpture, Dreaming the Future, by renowned sculptor Pablo Achugeri. In 2020, the country experienced the most active hurricane season in history, which resulted in 30 named storms. We are fortunate, very fortunate, that we only experienced minor effects from 2 storms that impacted us, resulting in some heavy rain, wind, and flooding. With proven preparedness, we were able to provide community outreach, sharing and receiving information with the public as it came in regarding these storms. The Cultural and Community Services Department was off to a running start at the beginning of 2020 with new program offerings before halting due to COVID-19. They successfully executed an all-girls youth soccer program that reached capacity in the first 2 seasons, eclipsed 95% participants in youth volleyball, and implemented a new youth fitness program. And after 15 years of providing a successful and coveted after-school program for the NSE SIB K-8 school, we transferred management to the school with the intention of bringing our focus to more specialized programming for the community. The plans for Pelican Park improvements are completed, which provide for additional storage and upgraded lobby space. Construction will be completed in early 2021 this year, and the project design for the Newport Fishing Pier shade structure is near completion, with construction slated to start this year. The Gateway Center build-out was completed in October 2020, and we are looking forward to opening the new facility and moving selected programming here in 2021. The center features a 3,600 square foot banquet space, classrooms, catering kitchen, top-of-the-line technology, and a social hallway for mingling when we are safely able to mingle. Despite the delays due to the coronavirus, the city rebranding project moved forward to the public outreach phase. We completed 3 focus groups with over 300 phone surveys and more than 600 online surveys. The presentation of final survey results, including brand petitioning and strategic plan, is expected by spring of 2021, with the final brand launch in the summer of this year. With an increase in digital activity in response to the pandemic, our social media accounts grew by 23% in 2020, with more than 3 million total impressions. Our ESIBI email notification subscription grew by 12% throughout the year, with an average opening rate of 39% during the first 3 months of the pandemic. Subscribers to our emergency notification system, SIB Alert, increased by 20%, and we received a record number of photo contest submissions that resulted in our newly designed desktop calendar. The city succeeded in petitioning the Department of Business and Professional Regulation to have a representative of the Office of the Condominium Ombudsman provide services in our city. Vice Mayor Larissa Svechin and Commissioner Jennifer Vizcarra went to Tallahassee to lobby for this important service for our residents, and after much correspondence and several follow-ups, they were successful. Now the Ombudsman works out of Government Center every other Monday and is available to meet with residents regarding condominium issues. The U.S. government concluded the 2020 census this past year, an undertaking that happens every 10 years. The pandemic impeded outreach, unfortunately, by both our city and the Census Bureau, but we spent months promoting the census digitally and with citywide signage. Another prevalent issue for our community has been determining the future of the Town Center District. We were fortunate to host 3 in-person events before gatherings were suspended in March, and despite this setback, the Planning and Zoning Department continued with online surveys and virtual workshops to gain additional public input while keeping the community safe. At the September 2020 Commission meeting, the moratorium was extended until March 19th, 2021, and this January, we discussed extending the moratorium for an additional 6 months. During this time, the city is completing research, analysis, and considering various options to address issues relating to future development within the Town Center District. This year, we lost a woman who was integral to Sunny Isles Beach's history, Senator Gwen Margolis. She was a lead supporter of the citizen group that advocated to incorporate our area and later appointed the city's charter commission. We mourn the loss of a strong leader who broke barriers in Miami-Dade County and Florida. May Gwen rest in peace. In 2020, our city elected 2 incumbent commissioners, Dana Goldman and Larissa Svechin, who will remain the vice mayor in 2021. I want to thank our entire commission, including Vice Mayor Svechin, Commissioners Dana Goldman, Alex Lama, and Jennifer Vizcarra for their work this past year. Throughout the pandemic, Vice Mayor Svechin, City Manager Russo, and the city staff have done an exceptional job assisting me, coordinating with other agencies at times when I was unavailable due to my position as CEO of One Blood. It wasn't easy, but their commitment to serve the residents of Sunny Isles Beach, at times putting themselves at risk, was very honorable, and I want to publicly thank them for their efforts and dedication. I also want to thank all of our residents, businesses, visitors, and city staff for your patience, your support, and your community involvement. I don't know when we will get back to what is considered normal, but we will stay on course and put in the work to keep everyone safe and healthy. On behalf of myself, Vice Mayor Svechin, and Commissioners Goldman, Lama, and Vizcarra, I wish everyone health and prosperity in 2021. Thank you very much. Okay. That's a long one, but we had a lot going on in the year of the pandemic. So thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to item 5B. And just in case you're curious and you didn't get enough from me, the state of the city will be posted in the Islander. And I think it's, I don't know if it was sent yet, but the upcoming Islander will have the state of the city as a feature article, just in case you're curious or further curious. Okay, item 5B, Mauricio?
Yes, Mayor. Item 5B is a proclamation regarding the National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Awareness Month, and Vice Mayor Svechin will report, and I believe she's going to read the proclamation as well.
Excellent. Vice Mayor.
Vice Mayor, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mauricio. As many of you know, I've been a champion for anti-human trafficking education and really everything surrounding it. This has been a major issue for many, many years, especially in Miami-Dade County. It got a lot of press during the Super Bowl. And I can also add that the next Super Bowl, which I believe is going to be in Tampa, I just read that Airbnb is finally going to have an app available so that riders and drivers can report potentially instances of human trafficking. So if you would please indulge me, I want to read the proclamation. Whereas more than 20 million men, women, and children worldwide are victims of human trafficking, and whereas human trafficking is an assault on human dignity affecting people all around the world, and whereas through coercion and force, human traffickers deprive millions of victims of their unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and whereas often referred to as modern slavery, this intolerable blight in society involves forced and involuntary labor or sex and affects people of all ages, genders, races, religions, and nationalities. And whereas this evil undermines the rule of law, robs millions of their dignity and freedom, enriches transnational criminals and terrorists, and threatens public safety and national security everywhere. And whereas, like the United States, many countries around the world have worked to implement the 3P paradigm of prosecuting traffickers, protecting victims, and preventing the crime through the passage and implementation of national anti-trafficking laws. And whereas the city of Sunny Isles Beach reaffirms its commitment to continue to raise awareness in the hopes of eradicating this abhorrent evil, to support victims and survivors, and to hold traffickers accountable for their heinous crimes. I just want to add, I believe I've said this before, but human trafficking is a lot worse than drug dealing, because unlike drugs, people, you don't have to sell them forever. You can just keep reusing them. And that's one of the reasons why this has become such a heinous crime, is that it's much more profitable than drug dealing. And so I appreciate you indulging me. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Thanks for that important proclamation. Okay, we move on to 5C.
Mayor, before we move on, I believe Commissioner Vizcarra had a few words to say.
Yes, thank you,
Okay.
Mauricio.
Jennifer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to just take a moment to recognize Vice Mayor Svechin for her work in human trafficking education. She's brought it to the city. And she's also been recognized, and we're going to embarrass her a little bit. She didn't know that we've been snooping around, and we wanted to recognize that she's been acknowledged by the United for Human Rights Florida as a human rights hero, and she has a nice framed certificate to prove it. And I wanted to thank the Vice Mayor on behalf of all of us who appreciate the work that she does, not only at the city, but when she goes out at a state level, she's representing us and she makes us look good. So we appreciate you, and congratulations on your recognition.
Thank you. And yes, you embarrassed me.
Surprise.
Excellent. Very nice. Very nice. You're supposed to be a little embarrassed. That's the idea. So, okay. Now we move on to 5C. Thank you, Commissioner Vizcarra. Okay, Mauricio.
Okay, 5C is a proclamation on International Holocaust Remembrance Day, and this is also Vice Mayor Svetch.
Thank you. Again, as many of you are aware, Holocaust Remembrance Day is January 27th, or maybe you aren't aware, and this is the freeing of Auschwitz-Birkenau. This is different than what is celebrated in April. This is something that's very important to me personally, as a child of Holocaust survivors, but also as a Jew and someone that lives in this community. But this is important to all of us who are in support of human rights. So I'm going to read this proclamation. The Holocaust was a state-sponsored systematic persecution and annihilation of European Jewry by Nazi Germany and its collaborators between 1933 and 1945. 6 million were murdered. Roma people, Poles, and people with disabilities in general were also targeted for destruction or decimation for racial, ethnic, or national reasons, and millions more, including homosexuals, Jehovah's Witnesses, Soviet prisoners of war, and political dissidents, also suffered grievous oppression and death under Nazi tyranny. And whereas November 1st, 2005, the United Nations General Assembly adopted Resolution 607, resolution designating January 27th, the anniversary of the liberation of the Auschwitz death camp, as an annual international day of commemoration in memory of the victims of the Holocaust. And the resolution rejects any denial of the Holocaust as a historical event, either in full or in part, and condemning without reserve all manifestations of religious intolerance, incitement, harassment, or violence against persons or communities based on ethnic origin or religious belief whenever they occur. International Holocaust Remembrance Day is held on January 27th of each year and is a day for the world to pause and remember the millions of people who were murdered or whose lives were forever affected by the Holocaust. And on this day, member states of the United Nations are encouraged to develop educational programs to instill the memory of the tragedy in future generations and in order to help prevent future acts of genocide. And in recognition of International Holocaust Remembrance Day, the city of Sunny Isles Beach joins with all those whose lives were affected by the Holocaust, and we remember their strength, courage, and bravery, and will continuously work to make sure their stories are remembered. Thank you. And I just want to add, as we all know, there have been increased incidents of anti-Semitism and hate in general, so it's important to keep these sort of proclamations and dedications top of mind. So thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Thank you. Okay. We move on to 5D, which is a report of the city manager. Mauricio? Or Chris? Either one? I think it's Chris. Yep. Chris, you want to take this one?
Evelyn Trumbull of my office had handled this. I'm going to let Evelyn speak.
Okay. Hi, Evelyn.
Hi, good evening, Honorable Mayor and Commissioners. We received a designation as a tree city for the second year in a row. The criteria for this designation, it includes having an ordinance supporting healthy and neat landscaping, a landscaping/tree budget of at least $2 per capita, and an annual proclamation. Now, the proclamation requirement, it was waived last year due to COVID-19. The city received this plaque in 2019 for our initial award and received a plaque extension for 2020. Now, street signs like the one behind me, can you see? Like the one behind me, will be placed at various locations throughout the city in the coming months. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Evelyn.
Yeah,
so
thanks, Evelyn.
I'm wondering what a plaque extension looks like. Does that mean they put a piece on the bottom of it? Is that how it works? I'm only kidding. Oh, look at that. It is a plaque extension.
It is.
So you called me out. I get it. Thank you. So so I guess you keep tacking the leaves on. Thank you, Evelyn. Great job. Thank you.
Mayor, can I just add something?
Sure.
I just wanted to say that, Arbor Day is celebrated in Florida in January, unlike the rest of the country, which is in April. And I had the pleasure of planting some trees with the kids the other day at the school, around a bench that was dedicated to one of the teachers that, Barbara, who passed away a year ago. And it was, okay, there we go. So I just want to recognize the kids for that. I didn't realize you were putting that up there.
No, that's great.
Yeah, that where that is Barbara Martinez passed away almost exactly a year ago from cancer. And so the school had put a bench area and a bench dedicated to her. And so we thought that would be really nice to plant some trees in her memory right there, and included some of the kids, the teachers' kids. So that was really fun and nice, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Oh, you got the gnomes in there. Boy, you got it going on. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. So that's it for our opening proclamations. And we're going to move on to ordinances for first read. Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry, Mayor. Commissioner Goldman also wanted to say a few words.
I'm sorry. I'm kind of ripping here. Go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
So Mauricio, you want to put that up on the screen?
Yes, give me 1 second.
So it is a perfect segue to the tree designation for the city, and also for Arbor Day plantings. We're in honor of Sholem, who the son of the rabbi in the Rebbitzin, one of our rabbis in the city, who so tragically perished in Sunny Isles Beach this past year. We're having a tree planting, one tree for a good deed, on January 24th. This is in conjunction with Tu B'Shvat, the Festival of the Trees. It's a Jewish festival and holiday. And I'm very happy to see the city carry the platform and the social media to promote this. It's nearly full out. If anybody's interested in participating or sponsoring a tree, the information is here, or you can contact me or anybody directly. But this is going to be held at Oneida River State Park, January 24th at 9 a.m. And this is again in memory of beloved Sholem. Thank you very much.
Bud, you're muted.
You're muted, Mayor.
I'm muted. Okay, here we go. It says the cutoff is 1:20, but I'm going to contribute when we hang up. So because usually Sholem tells me what he's doing. Okay, so now we're going to move on to item 7A, which is our first ordinance for first reading. Mauricio.
7A is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Sunny Isles Beach, Florida, amending Section 26-7 of the city's Code of Ordinances, titled Supplemental Qualifying Period, to provide that a candidate for the office of mayor or city commissioner shall qualify by complying with the requirements set forth in Section 26-15, amending Section 26-9, titled Names of Qualified Candidates to be printed on ballot, by adding the requirement that candidates submit a state government issued identification plus one type of residency document in order to qualify. Amending Section 26-15, titled The Qualifications, adding a requirement for candidates to provide a state-issued identification plus one type of residency documentation, and detailing the types of acceptable documentation to show the candidate met the requisite residency requirement, providing for repeal, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the city code, providing for an effective date. This is first reading.
Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Commissioners, at your direction, we have amended these provisions that Mauricio just referred to in order to require anyone who wants to run for a commissioner or mayor in the city to submit proof of residency by providing a government issued identification plus one other type of residency documentation to show that the person has in fact resided in the city for a period of 1 year. So those documents would be a City of Sunny Isles Beach issued a resident identification card, voter registration card, a driver's license, a property tax receipt, or homestead exemption. So this will be applicable if you pass this. This is first reading, but if we pass this next month, it'll be applicable for the election in 2022.
Got it. So sounds good. I mean, I think additional clarity, there's nothing wrong with that. It's pretty clear. Any comments on the ordinance? Mauricio, is there any public comments on the ordinance?
No, Mayor, not for this.
I just wanted to add.
None. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, I just want to thank Ed and Valerie for their work on this. You know, this is really important. There's always, or there has been talk about, you know, as we know in our country, about election fraud, and it's really important to be transparent, and especially once we do get our census information, you know, potentially if we ever decide that we're going to redraw our districts within the city based on information, it's really important that we know exactly who's running from what district and that they're following our rules. So thank you, Ed and Valerie, for your work. I appreciate it.
Great. Any other comments? Okay, with that, I'll take a motion. Okay, I hear a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Lama. And it's a voice vote. Mauricio?
Commissioner Vizcarra,
Yes.
Commissioner Lama,
Yes.
Commissioner Goldman,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Svechin,
Yes.
Mayor Scholl.
Yes.
The ordinance passes on first reading. Second reading will be February 18th.
Okay. Item 7B, Mauricio.
7B is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Sunny Isles Beach, Florida, amending chapters 14, 96, 99, 116, 129, 138, 170, 189, 194, 208, 215, 223, 231, 234, 253, 260, 267 of the Code of Ordinances to provide for departmental name changes to conform with the department names set forth in Chapter 22 of the Code of Ordinances, amending Chapters 33, 158, 166, and 170 of the Code of Ordinances to replace the term special master with the term special magistrate to be consistent with Chapter 14 of the Code of Ordinances, amending Chapters 121, 193, 212, 247, and 256 of the Code of Ordinances to provide for departmental name changes and replacement of the term special master with special magistrate to conform to and be consistent with chapters 14 and 22 of the Code of Ordinances, amending chapters 85, 125, and 135 of the Code of Ordinances to clarify that enforcement will be pursuant to chapter 14 of the Code of Ordinances, amending chapters 108, 217, and 220 to provide for departmental name changes to conform with chapter 22 of the Code of Ordinances and to clarify that enforcement will be pursuant to chapter 14 of the Code of Ordinances, amending chapter 187 of the Code of Ordinances to provide for departmental name changes and replacement of the term special magister with special magistrate to conform to and be consistent with chapters 14 and 22 of the Code of Ordinances, and also eliminating the term Director of Management Information Systems, amending chapter 265 of the Code of Ordinances to provide for departmental name changes and replacement of the term special master with special magistrate to conform to and be consistent with chapters 14 and 22 of the Code of Ordinances, and to clarify that enforcement will be pursuant to chapter 14 of the Code of Ordinances, providing for repealer, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the city code, providing for an effective date. And this is first reading.
Well, that was almost as long as the State of City address. So
It felt like it.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. I apologize for the length of that, but because of your agreement to allow the city manager to change to do the reconstruction of city government, we went through the entire Code of Ordinances and had to change the names that were in there. Some of them were probably from the time that the city was incorporated. So this just makes the names in those provisions of the code consistent with the reconfiguration we did. And throughout the code, there were references to the term special master, and the more appropriate term is special magistrate. There's really nothing substantive that we're doing here. It's just name changes throughout.
So this is housekeeping on steroids. Yeah, this is housekeeping for the Code of Ordinances. So, Valerie did an excellent job of wading through all of those chapters in order to make sure that we were consistent throughout. Better her than us. That's all I can say. Thank you, Valerie.
I have to say, All in a day's work, Valerie. Good job. All in a day's work.
Mauricio, do we have any comments from the public?
No, Mayor.
Okay. Any comments from the commission? Okay, I'll take a motion to approve.
I'll move.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by the Vice Mayor. Mauricio, it's a voice vote.
Commissioner Lama,
Yes.
Commissioner Goldman,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Svechin,
Yes.
Commissioner Viscara,
Yes.
Mayor Scholl.
Yes.
The ordinance is adopted. Second reading will be for February 18th.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we're going to move to our local planning agency. Mauricio?
Okay, so this is the point in the meeting where we are going to recess the commission meeting and we will open the meeting as the local planning agency. So Mayor, you want to go ahead and open the meeting?
Okay, so the commission meeting is recessed temporarily and we are opening the meeting to consider two ordinances as the local planning agency amending the land development regulations.
Okay, and just one more time for the record, the commission is sitting as the local planning agency. So 7C is a resolution of the local planning agency for the city of Sunny Isles Beach, Florida, approving a proposed extension to the term of the moratorium established by ordinance number 2019-541 as extended by ordinance number 2020-555 for an additional 6 months from March 19th, 2021, providing for servability, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, so obviously this ordinance will extend the moratorium for 6 months for the town center district. Are there any comments from the public, Mauricio?
No, Mayor.
Let me just,
Okay, any comments from?
May I clarify
ahead.
that? This resolution is from the LPA to the city commission, basically recommending that they adopt the next ordinance, which we'll come back to after this. And basically,
Understood.
The reason that we're doing that is some of it's because of COVID-19, and some of it's because that we've not been able to conclude the pending administrative proceeding before the Division of Administrative Hearings. Just for your edification, we need to report to the administrative law judge prior to the end of March, and we hope to schedule that meeting for for spring, April or May, and hopefully get that taken care of so that we can proceed with the other work we need to do in that area.
Okay, so what we're saying is the first ordinance is procedural and the second ordinance is actually the extension.
The first is
understood. Right, is the recommendation. Okay. Okay. So any comments from the commission regarding the resolution of the land planning agency? Okay. With that, I will take a motion to approve the resolution of the land planning agency.
I'll move.
Okay, Vice Mayor. Okay, a second by Commissioner Lama. Mauricio?
This is just a voice vote, Mayor.
Oh, it is. Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0, Mauricio.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we go to item 7C1.
Okay, so now for the record, we are reconvening as the city commission. Okay.
Right. We're back to the commission. So I misspoke, and it was only one resolution, the land planning agency, not two. So
yes.
So now we're back to the commission meeting, and we're going to look at the ordinance in front of us, item 7C1. Mauricio.
Okay. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Sunny Isles Beach, Florida, extending the term of ordinance number 2019-541 as extended by ordinance number 2020-555 for an additional 6 months from March 19th, 2021, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date. And this is first reading.
Okay. Ed, do you have anything to add to your prior statement?
I don't. The reason we're doing it now, Mayor, is to ensure that we have second reading in February prior to the expiration of the moratorium in March.
Understood. Okay. Okay. Any comments from the public, Mauricio?
No, Mayor.
Okay. Any comments from the commission? Okay. I will take a motion.
So moved.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Goldman. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Lama. And this is an ordinance. Mauricio.
Yes. Commissioner Goldman,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Spetchen,
Yes.
Commissioner Vizcarra,
Yes.
Commissioner Lama,
Yes.
Mayor Scholl.
Yes.
The ordinance passes on first reading. Second reading is for February 18th.
Okay. Thank you very much. That is it for our ordinances tonight. We're going to move on to resolutions. So we go on to item 10A. We have no ordinances for second reading this meeting. So 10A.
Okay. 10A is a resolution approving change order number 1 to the agreement with All Web Enterprises for the purchase and installation of drainage wells and concrete pads. And this is reporting by Rick. Give me 1 second, Mayor. Go ahead, Rick, if you just unmute yourself.
There you go. All yours, Rick.
Hi, this is, good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City staff. This is a resolution to complete the project with All Webs for 2 additional drainage wells we put in on 172nd Street. There were some items we had to construct that we weren't sure of what we needed until after we opened the top of the wells up to get some accurate measurements and see what we had to deal with. So this change order basically covers those items to close out the project.
Thank you, Rick. Mauricio, any comments from the public?
No, Mayor.
Okay. Any comments from the commission? Hearing none, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Okay. Motion by Vice Mayor Spetchen, second by Commissioner Goldman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay. Any opposed? None. Okay. Mauricio, motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Mayor.
Item 10B. Thank you, Rick.
10B is a resolution approving the purchase of a 2020 Ford F-550 bucket truck from Alltech Industries, Inc. And this is our Superintendent of Public Works, Fabricio. 1 second, Mayor.
I love bucket trucks. Guys like bucket trucks, you know?
Good evening.
Fabricio.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, and staff. This resolution, the City of Sunny House wishes to purchase a new bucket truck. The current bucket truck we have is from 2012, and it's rusted. It is always in constant need of repairs. The extension arm of the truck is in disrepair, and the hydraulics are very compromised. So that creates kind of like a liability for the operators when using it. The city desires to purchase this vehicle is from Alltech Industries using a source wealth contract. And the total cost for the vehicle and delivery is in the amount of $127,831.
Thank you, Fabricio.
Thank you.
Mauricio, any comments from the public?
No, Mayor.
None? Any comments from the commission? Okay. Do I hear a motion to purchase the bucket truck?
So moved.
Commissioner Goldman, do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Lama. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Okay, item 10C.
10C is a resolution approving the purchase of a T66 T4 Bobcat compact track loader and associated equipment pursuant to a Sourcewell contract number 040319-CEC.
A bucket truck and a loader. I'm getting jealous here, you know, so, okay, Fabricio.
Oh, yes. The Public Works Department purchase a Bobcat truck loader with the approval of the City Commission to the budget process. The item was within the authority of the city manager because it was $49,942.04. Also, we got approved through the procurement process a 14-inch planer, which is a milling attachment, but it's for $8,586, which it will exceed the $50,000 amount. So we are seeking for the approval to expend a total amount of $58,528.30 with Bobcat of Miami, which was a company that we purchased the loader initially.
Okay. Thank you, Fabricio. Mauricio, any comments from the public?
No, Mayor.
Any comments regarding the bucket truck and the planer? I'm sorry, the loader and the planer. Still in the bucket truck. Nope. Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll move.
Moved by Commissioner Goldman. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Vizcarra. All in favor, aye? Aye. All in favor, okay. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Fabricio.
Okay.
Okay, we move on to item 10D.
10D is a resolution approving a Fifth Amendment to the agreement with Calvin Giordano and Associates for professional planning and consulting services. And this is Claudia. Give me 1 second, Mayor. Go ahead, Claudia.
Claudia, there you go. And you're, oh, new headset. Fantastic.
Can you hear me well?
Now we can hear you. See? Very good.
Mayor, thank you. Vice Mayor, Commissioners. This is our annual renewal with Calvin Giordano. This is the last of the 5th-year contract options that we have for renewal. This year, we are asking for a total amount not to exceed $150,000 for this year. This will include services such as site plan review, and engineering and traffic reports review. And if in the case that we have any site plan during this year, they will be refunded to the city through the cost recovery process.
Okay. Any comments from the public regarding the Calvin Giordano contract extension?
No, Mayor.
No. Any comments from the commission?
Yes, I want to clarify. This requisition is not related to the town center district or planning or zoning. I just want to clarify that this is not. Okay.
This is general planning, zoning, and engineering services.
Okay, because we've already allocated a substantial tranche for that purpose. So
that's correct.
And I don't know if there's any in the future, but I just want to clarify that. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Commissioner Vizcarra, do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Lama. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Mauricio, motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Item 10E. Thank you, Claudia.
10E is a resolution.
Buenas noches.
10E is a resolution approving an increase in spending authority with Calvin Giordano and Associates for the Newport Pier cleanup services.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Commission. This item is for our quarterly pier cleanup underwater under the pier at Sunny Isles Beach Newport Fishing Pier. It is a requirement as part of our permit with FDAP. And so this is just because of the other funds that we expend with the other divisions. This is a request for an approval for these additional funds for this.
Understood. Any comments from the public, Mauricio?
No, Mayor.
No. Any comments from the commission?
I have a question, Mayor, if that's okay.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Sylvia, can you just clarify how that works? I got a question from a resident concerned that it seems that we're spending so much money on the pier. How exactly does that work? How is this being covered, the cost of the cleanup?
So what it is once every quarter, they have an employee from CGA who's certified underwater. He comes in the morning. He does half of the pier at a time so that it's not closed to the public while we're doing this. He goes underwater. We provide an employee who assists, who stays on the pier while he goes underwater. And he has to collect any trash, any fishing line, sometimes there's large items that are under there. During the course of COVID, with all of the closures, there's actually been very little trash collected under there, which is great. But under normal circumstances, there's quite a bit. He has to collect all of that, and then a report has to be submitted to FDP with all of that information, with pictures of what he collects, how much it weighs, what are all of the items. And all of that is submitted because that's something that they monitor as far as what kind of activity is taking place at the pier and if there's something of a concern that they need to look further into.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other comments regarding the pier cleanup? Dana? Okay. Jennifer?
No,
go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, when Sylvia was speaking, I thought she was going to say that because of COVID, there was all this like face masks or something, but she's actually said it's better. So I was very happy to hear that.
Yeah, actually there was a lot more marine life that he would see under the pier during that time as opposed to prior to, but.
Good.
Great. Any other comments or questions for Sylvia? Okay. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Okay, Commissioner Goldman, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Vizcarra. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries 5-0, Mauricio.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Sylvia. Okay, item 10F.
10F is a resolution approving a Sixth Amendment to the agreement with O'Leary Richards Design and Associates for landscape architect services. And this is Susan.
Susan.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Commission. This is our fifth and final renewal with Kathy O'Leary Richards Design Associates. They do monthly inspections for our landscaping that is owned and operated by the city. They also do special projects, little design projects, and they will do landscape plan review for the zoning department, which gets reimbursed through those zoning fees. So we are requesting $77,000 to get us through this final term.
Okay. Any comments from the public? None.
Oh, Mayor.
Okay.
No, sorry.
Any comments from the commission? Okay. Do I hear a motion?
Wait,
Dana.
just one little comment. So I had asked, I just wanted some clarification. I know O'Leary's doing our landscape, right, for this meditation garden. I'm wondering how far along we are and when that's gonna happen. I know this is not part of this requisition, but I just wanted some input on that. If anybody can give me that.
I can if Chris is okay with that. The meditation garden is the design has not moved forward yet because they're waiting for the final selection of the art piece that is going to go in the fountain. So the design you saw had a fountain piece all the way at the west end in a plaza. Until that piece is selected, they can't do all of the civil engineering that would need to go to support that. So they're waiting for that decision to be made. The PAC is meeting the beginning of February. That will come to you. If they approve, that'll come to you at the February commission meeting, and then that will go directly to O'Leary and she will get going on that project.
So we're looking at probably third or fourth quarter for the, or probably extending further than that for this opening, because it would be great to have another outdoor space available, even in a time like this. I mean, it certainly would be a welcome addition to our parks and facilities in the city. So just looking to see some progress.
I
with
would
that.
be optimistic to hope that it would be finished and opened by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. I do also want to know, even with the pier park, the pier, even the art pieces as well that we approved, and how far along that's going to be. Those canopies, those top.
Yes, so those are right now in the fire department review. That was the final step. Our building department has done a preliminary review, but once fire approves it through Miami-Dade County, then that will come back to the building department, and we would hope to have that out to bid. Realistically, maybe coming before you with it was already a design build, so we should be finished with that hopefully by the end of the year also.
Wonderful. We'll be looking forward to the addition of those parks to our current portfolio.
Great, thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. Any other comments? Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Lama. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 5-0. And we move on to item 10G.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
10G is a resolution qualifying and approving a short list of civil engineering firms to provide general civil engineering services on an as-needed basis in response to RFQ number 200701 for continuing consulting services.
Okay, so this RFQ went out latter part of last year. It was for a number of disciplines, professional services, and this is the first one that we're bringing forward to you, which is what we call a short list from all the applicants, people that submitted an RFQ. And this is our civil engineering short list, which we are proposing to include the 6 engineering firms listed there: Caltran Engineering, Craig A. Smith and Associates, Keith Engineering, Ross Engineering, Craven Thompson and Associates, and Calvin Giordano and Associates. So we can use and pick and choose from any of them who we think is the best and negotiate with them for projects that don't exceed $4 million.
Okay. Any comments from the public, Mauricio?
Yes, Jody Joseph. 1 second, Mayor.
Sure.
Jody, go ahead. Jody? Jody?
Yeah, we can't hear her.
Yeah. Yeah, she's unmuted, but I'm not sure. It's on her end.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, Jody. Jody, if you can maybe try dialing back in, and we can pick your comment up, later in the meeting, because we can't hear you, and you're off mute. We can see that you're off mute. Sorry. Any other comments from the public, Mauricio?
No, Mayor.
Okay. Any comments from the commission?
I have a question for Chris for clarification, please. Chris, can you explain how this is going to work for the people that are attending? We have quite a few attendees, and I know we talked about this during the agenda review. But what does this mean? This short list? How does this benefit us? Why are we doing this?
Well, it gives us the ability that if we start negotiating with one firm and there's something we don't like, we think the price is too high, we've got another one already legitimately procured that we can then talk to. Some have expertise in certain areas that may be better than another one. We have experience with a few of these firms, and some we never have. So it gives us more flexibility. It gives us some options, and it actually saves some time to have a number of qualified engineering firms if, for whatever reason, if it just comes down to price. Also, we've got flexibility both on skill. It gives us a full, it's kind of like a full pack of possibilities without having to stop, go and do another procurement to do this. This is very typical with the larger cities and counties and things to have these lists. Frankly, we haven't done it quite like this before. Rick had recommended it, and I think it's certainly working out in this particular discipline.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, I'll take a motion. Okay, moved by Vice Mayor Svechin, second by Commissioner Lama. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Mauricio, very good. Item 10H.
10H is a resolution expressing support for Florida Senate Bill 554, which would amend Section 1003.42 of the Florida statutes to revise the required health education in public schools to include information regarding the dangers and signs of human trafficking and specifying the minimum requirements of the human trafficking education portion of the comprehensive health education curriculum.
Okay, Vice Mayor Svechin.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is as I said before, this has become a topic that has been discussed now more and more every year. And right now, this is being proposed up in Tallahassee. There is currently already human trafficking education. This is an amendment to that. And I'd like just for clarification, because I did have a resident reach out to me not understanding why we would even support this. This isn't sex education. This is human trafficking. And because so many of our children are susceptible to this, especially with social media, it's really important for us to support this resolution. And they are the most vulnerable because we have so many that are now on My School Online and literally sitting in front of a screen more than anything, and are frankly being targeted. So this is a really important piece of legislation that I'm hoping that we can support. Thank you.
Okay, Mauricio, any comments by the public?
Yes, Jody raised her hand. Let's see if it works this time.
Okay, see if we can get her in this time.
Jody,
okay, Jody, go off mute. Yep, go off mute, Jody.
I've been doing that for quite some time. Also,
now we hear you.
You can hear me now?
We hear you now, Jody.
Yeah, and I was hitting
now we hear you.
Like 7-8 times and nobody responded. So I don't know what happened with that.
We hear you now, Jody, and you have the floor.
I was just curious as to where the Zen Garden is and all these new parks being put in. I wasn't able to hear that. It wasn't clear. So if you don't mind filling me in, we'd appreciate it. And Happy New Year and Healthy New Year to everyone, by the way.
Chris, you want to explain the meditation park that Commissioner Goldman was referring to?
Yeah, the meditation park is in the space that was the former skate park at the back section of the town center park at 172nd and Collins.
Does that fill you in, Jody?
And then the other one is at the pier. I think she was asking about that.
Right. We talked about two projects. The other was the cleaning of the underside of the pier, which is required by the state because we're actually on state property with the pier. And then the project that Commissioner Goldman was talking about was the meditation park, which is just behind Winston Towers 600 on the south side, between 6 and 300, in the back of Town Center Park. If you go to the north end of Town Center Park to the back corner, there's a little pathway, and there's an area in the back of that park that the skate park used to be in. And that's where this other, that's where this,
from the park.
It's all part of the park, but it's going to be in that area of the park.
Yeah.
So, Jody, does that give you the clarity?
She's off, Mayor.
Okay.
I disabled it mistakenly.
Yeah, it's okay. I think we answered the question. Okay. Okay. So, any comments from the commission regarding Larissa's resolution?
I 100% support it. I think that,
Great.
With kids, everybody has a phone now. They're accessible. They play digitally. You can't even see them playing. You don't know who's in there with them sometimes. So I think this is incredibly valuable to support. So
Great.
thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve? Okay, motion by Commissioner Lama, second by Commissioner Vizcarra. And all in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? 5-0. Okay, Mauricio. Item 10I. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you.
10I is a resolution expressing support of the Miami-Dade County Public School Superintendent and Board's recommendation to prioritize vaccinations for all school-based staff in order to protect the health of school employees, grade school children, and their families.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a resolution that was requested by the Miami-Dade County PTA. Ms. Diane Quick, I believe, was able to join. I think I see her. And this is in support of the superintendent's initiative and this district school board, where they are urging the governor to position teachers and school staff as next in line to get the vaccine, obviously, once we have enough vaccines to go around. But given how this would allow more of our children and more of our teachers to return to school, this is a really important initiative, since I can tell you right now at our K-8, we have 36 teachers that are out on quarantine. And this is happening on a regular basis. So it's really important to vaccinate this population. Thank you. I don't know if Diane wanted to say a few words. I don't want to put her on the spot. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Hold on one second.
Here's Diane. Hi,
Hello.
Diane.
Hi, greetings from the other end of the county. I am in Palmetto Bay, and I chair the Palmetto Bay Education Advisory Committee. And it was sort of in that capacity, as well as my work with the county PTA, that I reached out to the Vice Mayor. Our committee recommended to our council in Palmetto Bay a resolution exactly the same as the Vice Mayor is proposing, to support the superintendent and the school district's desire to get teachers and other school personnel with direct access to students more priority as far in terms of the vaccinations. And it's exactly what the Vice Mayor said. I have spoken with teachers. We have teachers on our committee that are scared. They're in schools, they're nervous. They've said if they could be vaccinated, they would feel far more comfortable being back in school with our students. And so we're asking them to go to school. It's important for our children. Many of our children need to be in school. Some are thriving at home, mine are, but many are not. Others, they need the schools because they need to go back to work. It's a big part of the economic driver that our governor and our state legislator has been pushing. But you're not giving the teachers that we need, the same support as you are other people, sort of in the priority list. So we felt very strongly, it was a unanimous proposal by our committee. And so I was just sharing it with other folks that I know that are involved with education to see if others were interested in providing the same support. So I thank you for inviting me and to speaking with all of you, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you. Any comments from the public, Mauricio?
Yes, we have Jody again. Go ahead, Jody.
Okay.
Yeah, hi. I'm sorry, Mauricio, for some reason you just kept on cutting me off and I wasn't done.
Yes, I'm sorry, Jody. I mistakenly disabled your microphone.
Thank you. Bud, you were just mentioning if you had answered my question. Actually, you didn't, but thank you for the information that you gave me. My next question was, I understand that our little neighborhood pharmacy, Navarro, is being sold and the city is purchasing it, Sunny Isles, is that correct?
That happened about 4 years ago.
So it's correct. Okay. Now, when is it coming down? What's happening?
We don't know because CVS owns it. CVS owns Navarro, and CVS has an option to extend their lease for 5 years. And so we'll know, I think this year, they will notice us whether they intend to extend their lease or not. In all likelihood, I think they will extend their lease. So it'll probably be open for a while longer. But, we purchased that as part of the assemblage of almost the entire block. We own where the Turnberry Sales Center was, and we own on the corner where the construction staging area has been for the streetlight project.
That was my next question. The Turnberry Sales Center, do you have any plans?
We own that as well.
Right, and there's a lot of property back there. I was told that some people
Right.
want to do another dog park. And again, I'm just, worried about all of Sunny Isles. But my main
Yeah.
concern is because I don't feel no one's really looking out for Golden Shores. And
So here's the good news, Jody.
thank you, bud. I'm with
The
you.
good news is whatever you've heard isn't true, because we've never made a single comment about what we're going to do there, because we don't know what we're going to do there yet. That'll be for a future commission when all that land is assembled.
Okay.
So you might hear chatter in the neighborhood, but I can tell you this commission, none of us has ever even spoken about it, because it's never been, it's not even on the radar screen yet. But the good news is that property won't be developed in the future. So you're not going to get, high-rise buildings or anything of that nature there. It'll be something for a public purpose. So we are watching out for Golden Shores, actually, in precluding any high-rise development at the entrance to your neighborhood.
Right, but also I'm just, from what's happened in the past, because everybody was saying, oh, there's no marina. What are you talking about? There's no marina. Nobody there said they knew about a marina. So lo and behold, how Jerry and I knew about the marina, I'm baffled. And
Right.
then
But that's private property, Jody. That's not city property.
I know, but
Yeah, that's private property.
Commissioners,
Yeah.
you have to know more than we
No,
know.
I understand.
If not, then there's a problem.
Yeah, not necessarily, not always. A lot of times you know more than we know. But the fact is, that's private property. What we're talking about is public property. And the public property we can comment on. The public property, I know what's going on. So that's the good news. But yeah. But so that's the story with Navarro. That's the story. We bought that property about 4 years ago, and we bought it subject to the lease of the Navarro Pharmacy, and they have one more option they can exercise this year for 5 more years. And then, but the idea was to preclude development, to create a city amenity at the entrance to your neighborhood. And I think we had, by putting that assemblage together, we've been able to do that. So.
Okay, one last question, if I may. I know we listen to the meetings, and there's just hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars just doled out. And, I know, what were you saying, the town center, they're on their 3rd try already to rectify the problems. Is that correct? That there were some issues with.
What do you mean?
It was mentioned.
Well, that's been going on for, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's been going on for a while, but that's why we extended the moratorium. But there's lawsuits involved in that, and there's our city attorney's got to answer certain pleadings by certain dates, and that's why the moratorium is being extended. And we've still been working on that.
Got it. Great. So my question is, with all the money that's being doled out, the new buses and new tires, and now there's trucks and there's landscape. And now I understand that there's this, which we had discussed previously, the art project, which is like, what, $43,000. And then, is this correct? Somebody said that not only the art project, but they're redoing the entire government center? Or is that something else that's just?
No.
They're not doing that?
No.
Lobby.
So, Jody, can we get back on? Can we get back to the meeting? Because you kind of hijacked the agenda on me here. So
No, I know, but I
Go
was
ahead.
shut down for so many times, that I had my hand raised. And for
yeah,
so-
but you're not talking to any of the issues on the agenda. So
Well,
go
I was
ahead.
trying to
Go
do
ahead.
it before, but Mauricio didn't.
I understand. I'm just trying to keep the meeting in order. That's all.
I appreciate that. I just wish I was called on when I had raised my hand. But, okay, well, sorry for saying anything, but I was just questioning all the money being doled out. If there's something that can go to our neighborhood, that was it. But I'm sorry to take up your time.
Yeah, undergrounding, the undergrounding project in your neighborhood, the streetlight project in your neighborhood, the fact that we acquired all that land at the entrance to your neighborhood, the license plate readers in your neighborhood, a lot of things have been going to your neighborhood, believe me.
Yeah, when we get through all that, probably end up $7, $8 to $10 million by the time we get through there. Yeah, not counting the property that we're assembling. Also, when we add that in, it's probably $10 to $15 million that we'll spend on that over the past 5 years, 6 years.
I was just wondering if maybe some of the landscape money that you were just mentioning, that's a lot of money, if we could possibly, and I spoke about this previously, maybe, I know with Chris, you were kind enough to put the stones down to keep all the trucks and the construction workers off the Deezer Way, that the construction workers move anyway, that me and my neighbors have to literally physically pick up and move back. So I was
Okay.
thinking,
All
well,
right.
we have so much money to spend, it would be nice to spend a little bit on landscape and Golden Shores. Thank you for your time.
Right.
We're going to be spending
Thanks,
a lot
Jody.
after we
Thank
dig
you.
it all up for the undergrounding.
All up, exactly. Yeah, it's going to be,
A
so
lot of
thank
money
you,
flying,
Jody.
guys. I hear the money flying.
Good. Thank you,
Thank you.
Jody.
Be well.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Vice Mayor, did we vote on the resolution? I lost track, sorry. Okay,
No.
Mauricio, and any comments from the commission regarding the Vice Mayor's resolution supporting the Miami-Dade County? Oh, no, that was, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
So
Mayor,
this-
I'm sorry.
this was
I just have one
Go
more
ahead.
public comment from a resident. Her name is Anna Uran. Her address is 17105 North Bay Road. And it's just
Go ahead.
expressing support of Vice Mayor's resolution regarding the school staff, teachers, and administrators' vaccinations.
Okay. Did we vote on 10H? I lost track.
Yes, we voted on 10H. We're on 10I.
Okay. And we're on 10I. Okay. Got it. So, any comments from the, is there any other public, okay, we got all the public comments on 10I. Is there any other comments from the commission on 10I? Okay. So I'll take a motion on 10I.
So moved.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Vice Mayor, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Any opposed? No one's opposed. So the motion carries 5-0. So 10I is approved. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Okay. We have our add-on item 10J.
10J is a resolution condemning hate and extremism.
Okay. Commissioner Goldman.
Okay, so in the aftermath of the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol building and in response to the manifold, heinous, and extremist acts that threaten the very existence of our democratic and religious institutions, the mayor and city commission are urged to adopt this resolution condemning hate and extremism. So this resolution was so eloquently provided in large part through the workings of the Anti-Defamation League, and clearly they're at the forefront of researching and exposing and training and advocating. And this event was so incredibly so shocking and so tragic, and such a shock to our conscience, our integrity, our sense of security, and so forth, that it's really incumbent upon us at every level, whether it's at the local or the municipal or the state level, to really voice out against this level of extremism that really, threatens the fabric of our society. And these events have been accumulating. It's Pittsburgh, it's the Capitol, it's Charlottesville, it's really everywhere. So without further ado, I'd like to read this into the record because it really is so poignant and so eloquent. Whereas the city of Sunny Isles Beach is committed to defending democratic institutions, the integrity of our elections, and the security of people and facilities that carry out the democratic process. And whereas the city of Sunny Isles Beach is committed to ending the spread of hate, bigotry, and harassment based on race, color, religion, national origin, ethnicity, sex, gender identity and expression, sexual orientation, disability, or any other protected characteristic as defined by law. And whereas the city of Sunny Isles Beach wishes to affirm its commitment to the well-being and safety of all its community members, and to ensure that they will be protected and their rights respected. And whereas the city of Sunny Isles Beach wishes to affirm its commitment to cultivating an inclusive community, including within city operations and institutions. And whereas the diversity of our community is beneficial to all within it, making us stronger and more resilient. And whereas each of our elected leaders has the ability and obligation to promote inclusiveness, celebrate diversity, work to ensure equitable opportunities in all major facets of society. prevent the spread of misinformation and disinformation, and reject hate and bias in all forms, and should set a positive example for their constituents in this regard. And whereas the January 6, 2021 domestic terrorism incident at our nation's capital does not reflect the values of the city of Sunny Isles Beach, and whereas the ADL, Anti-Defamation League's report on murder and extremism in the United States in 2019 found that domestic extremists killed at least 42 people in the United States in 17 separate incidences in 2019, making 2019 the 6th deadliest year on record for domestic extremist-related killings since 1970. And whereas the ADL report found that extremist-related murders in 2019 were overwhelmingly linked to right-wing extremists, with all but one of the incidents tied to right-wing extremism, and 81% of extremist-related murders in 2019 committed by white supremacists specifically. And whereas disinformation, misinformation, and online conspiracy theories are spreading and inspiring real-world violence. Whereas the city of Sunny Isles Beach supports the peaceful exercise of free speech, free assembly, and freedom to worship safely for all people. The foregoing recitals are ratified. The city of Sunny Isles Beach affirms its ongoing commitment to cultivating an inclusive, safe, and just society and culture, including within the Sunny Isles Beach operations and institutions, that values the diversity of our community, works to ensure equitable opportunities in all major facets of society, and celebrates both our individuality and commonality. The city of Sunny Isles Beach denounces the January 6, 2021 domestic terrorism incident at our nation's capital. We denounce anti-government extremism, white supremacy, racism, anti-Semitism, misogyny, Islamophobia, anti-LGBTQ hate, ableism, and all hateful speech and bias-motivated violent acts at our community. The city denounces extremist conspiracy theories, misinformation, and disinformation that cultivate an alienated and mistrustful electorate, undermine democratic institutions and processes, and increase the likelihood of violence. The city denounces attempts to exploit governmental procedure and basic government functions for personal political gain. The city commits to fostering an environment within the city operations and institutions that does not tolerate anti-government extremists, white supremacist, racist, anti-Semitic, misogynist, Islamophobic, and anti-LGBTQ, ableist, and other hateful speech and actions. The city commits to countering hate and extremism by offering an ongoing public lecture series and anti-bias and anti-racist strategies through engagement with community leaders, governmental transparency, and public information sharing regarding effects to fight extremism, and the investigation and prosecution of all commit criminal acts consistent with civil liberties protections. The city urges residents to join us by adopting these values in their own lives, calling attention to these harms, and denouncing hate and extremism to keep us all safe.
Thank you. Okay.
I urge the city to adopt this and really stand out and really affirm these values and these principles that are really core and important values in moving forward towards hopefully closing the chapter, this horrible incident and this horrible chapter that we've experienced.
Mauricio, any comments from the public on 10J?
No, Mayor.
Okay, any comments from the commission? Okay, do I hear a motion?
So
Motion by Commissioner Lama, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Goldman. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Goldman. Okay, that's it for our resolutions. We move on to item 12A, which is our add-on. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. This is an add-on because just today, the state Surgeon General issued an order which drastically changes the protocol for the vaccines for COVID-19. Really, before today, It was considered a federal asset, which meant that there could be no restrictions as to who would receive the vaccine if they met the requirement of being 65 or older or being in a vulnerable population. This included not only people traveling across state lines, but also people traveling from different countries to get the vaccine. This was discussed in the committee meetings up in Tallahassee, and he's now issued this order, which gives priority to Florida residents, meaning that you have to show proof that you are a consistent Florida resident and or you are a healthcare worker that is working with Florida residents. And that is because we are in need of so many nurses. I read today that in California, I believe they're paying $120 an hour for nurses while we're paying something like $42. You know better than I. And so we are in dire need of getting those people from Georgia and South Carolina or wherever. So I am clearly in support of this. I was hoping that we may have a motion to have staff work on a resolution. Just as we were having this meeting, I received a text from the Greater Miami Jewish Federation asking for help because they've got Holocaust survivors that had appointments with Mount Sinai, but now because there's no more vaccine, they can't get access. She's asking if we could help with that. So clearly, this is becoming quite an emergency for our elderly because the vaccine is being potentially allocated to others out of our state and country.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know a little bit about the vaccine. Okay. I actually talked to the Surgeon General 2 days ago. So obviously, with my role at One Blood, I dealt with a lot of this stuff. So, it's been my experience in the last few days, at least, it's going to ebb and flow. It's going to almost be like masks and gloves, 9 months ago, because ultimately, as the vaccine, and this is what's happened, we'll get a bunch of bookings and then they'll run low and then they replenish. And it really, what I've learned from the folks at the state that are running the process is that they don't always know when they're going to get the next batch. It comes in, but they don't know when they're going to get it. And this has been problematic for them. And so this is why we've seen a little bit of a start-stop, at some of these vaccination centers. What's also a little confusing is some of the hospitals are running their own systems and they run out because they got an allocation. And actually what the state did was the initial hospital allocations were 15% over what their needs were for doing exactly what the hospitals are doing, which is community outreach, and then helping with the elderly. So for instance, my mom signed up on the Jackson site and got the vaccine through the Jackson site. So it's going to end up ebbing and flowing, As far as the prioritization of it, to me that's kind of political, to be honest with you. I don't, I'm watching it, and one day it's the healthcare workers, and and I got to tell you what happened with One Blood. They prioritized us because my folks are out collecting blood and dealing with the public and going into hospitals and curing biologics and working with biologics. I mean, everything that can contaminate them, including myself. And then we started getting the vaccine for our folks, and then it got canceled, then it got reinstated. So it's been a moving target. I will also tell you that regionally around the state, it's very different. Okay, different regions are run by different elements of the Department of Health, and so different regions. It's not all centrally coordinated in a manner that you would expect. I think they're doing their best. I'm not going to throw them under the bus because I think they're working really hard. I talk to them on a regular basis, the folks that run the Department of Health, and I do think that they're trying their best. But that's kind of my knowledge base at this point. I mean, I talk to them, I say pretty regularly, probably twice a week, between the Surgeon General. Sometimes I talk to Director Moskowitz, sometimes I talk to, the folks at the Department of Health. It just depends upon, what the issues are. So, so that's where we're at, with that. So, what do you asking the city to advocate for?
Well, for me, the importance of this, and I agree with you 100%. There's a lot of politics going on here, and I've been speaking to them, and obviously for clarity for the people that are still on, you and I can't have these conversations outside of this forum. So this is where we have to have them. But Chris and I and Susan have been having these conversations. I was calling the health department, sitting in virtually these committee meetings, and really it's more about letting the public know, and really the what they're calling the vaccine tourism. So if it affects just even one person that thinks that they're not going to get this vaccine if they fly in from South America or Europe or Russia or whatever, I think that it's worth it. And so for me, it's more about, can we agree that we are going to be in support, that there's going to be priority, for Florida residents. After everything else, the teachers, obviously, there's a lot.
I got it. Yeah.
I'd like to add or input.
Go ahead, Dana.
So that's all good and well to have priority, but I think I'm getting calls from residents on an ongoing basis, and I know my colleagues are probably getting these calls. From our standpoint in our municipality, everybody wants to know, when are we going to have the availability here in our city? Is it going to be at CVS? Is it going to be at Walgreens? Are we going to be partnering with Mount Sinai? Can we get any service and accessibility? So I think really locally we should be having this, and I know we're starting that dialogue, and I understand there's a supply chain issue, but I think what the residents really want to know is, when is this coming to a theater near me? And, how am I going to have accessibility to this? So I think that's really the question.
Yeah. It would be disingenuous to try to tell them that right now, because we can't. Mm-hmm. Again, I run an essential business. I run an essential service for the healthcare system. I don't have clarity. Okay. And I also have access to the top leaders that I talk to on a regular basis. So I can't get clarity. So I could tell you, I can't, we're not going to get clarity at the city level for a while. Now, again, I think it's going to clean up. I think everybody's working really hard, and it's going to clean up. I know people don't want to hear that, but I just equate it like to the masks and the gloves in the beginning. We went through a supply chain issue in the very beginning where the supply chain got overwhelmed, and then it worked itself out, and then all of a sudden you're able to get, the distribution channels opened up. So, I can tell you that, and again, in working with the hospitals, they're trying to do community outreach with the allocations they have. They get overwhelmed. They don't get resupplied like they think they're going to get resupplied. And then the system breaks down, and then people get their appointments canceled and what have you. So I think the only thing I can tell the public is, right now, it's very difficult for any of us to try to proffer timeframes, dates, and allocations. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it because I think it would be disingenuous. But I can, but I think we can tell everybody that, we're all aware of the needs of the public to get vaccinated as soon as they can, and to try to provide it through our community if we can. And I think that, that's something that we're trying to do. And so, but it's not, I can tell you again, just for me with my business and my essential healthcare workers, it's been very, very difficult, and I haven't gotten everybody done yet, and I've got a 1A priority, according to the CDC and the state. And so, it's just not been easy, so we're kind of like right in the thick of it right now. And I'm hoping that the vaccine supply chain will work itself out in the coming weeks, and we'll start to get a steady flow, and it'll be more predictable. So that's,
so you think
that's
it's
the honest
a matter
answer.
of weeks, in a matter of weeks, or maybe 5.
I don't want to be held to it, Dana. I don't know. I'm not sitting at Pfizer or Moderna running the factory that's cranking out the vaccines, and then I'm not sitting at the federal government level deciding which states get what allocations. None of that's transparent. So I don't know. I just don't know. And the thing is, now everybody that's getting vaccinated now, they have to have the second dose available. So what I believe is there's going to be a lull in first doses, because the allocations that are going to come out are going to go for the second doses. So, my mother got vaccinated a week ago Monday. Her second dose is due February 1st. So she's got an appointment. So I believe that the first wave of first doses, You have to have the second doses to backfill and actually finish the treatment. So that's why I'm afraid to say it's going to be weeks, like a couple of weeks or 3 weeks. I don't know, because I believe that they've got to deal with the supply chain of the second dose in order to create the fulfillment process. So that's the tricky part.
And I agree with that.
For this order is because if you got the first dose, you needed to have the second dose. And if you're not a resident and you left, then you, in essence, messed up the process.
But honestly, Vice Mayor, I think that that's a nuanced issue. Mm-hmm. I don't want to focus on the 2%. I want to focus on the 98%. You know what I'm saying? I don't disagree with you that some people are getting it that shouldn't get it. But quite frankly, a lot of people got PPP money that shouldn't have gotten it either. But about 98% of the folks that got it needed it and saved a lot of businesses. So honestly, I don't disagree with you that I think it's an issue that it's good to advocate. I can tell you, at least in my experience with OneBlood, they are checking IDs. They're checking everything. They're not letting you just walk in and get a shot. So in my experience, with my team, when we do, we've had 3 regions get vaccinated now. I've got 7 regions that I created around the state for them to, to work with the Department of Health. You're not walking in and getting a shot. They're on it. They're on it. I mean, so I think that I just think, like I said, I think the nuance is going to be in the coming weeks for the second dose. So I think that what we see coming out is going to probably get largely allocated to the second dose, unless there's a lot more coming down the pipe that, I'm not, I just don't know. I don't have transparency as far as the actual deployment's concerned, Can
I propose that since it's between now and, next meeting will be a month, if anything changes, then, we decided that.
Of course. No, of course. Yeah. And again, I talk to these folks regularly, and I, and again, they know I'm a mayor. They know, they call me mayor, when I talk to them, because it's at the state level. So I talk to them regularly. So when I, if I hear something material, I'll certainly let the city manager know. But Chris and I have talked about this on a number of occasions. I've kind of kept them in the loop, at least what, we've been trying to do. But it's hard, because you can imagine everybody, in Florida is trying to get access to that vaccine right now. So it's not, it's not like, any of us have got kind of divine intervention here. So, but, I think that our hospitals are acting responsibly. And when they have additional vaccine, you can see they're setting up public-facing websites and things of that nature, which is great, because it takes some of the burden off the Department of Health. But the Department of Health is also out there, running sites and doing what they can do. We had a number of calls. I got a number of calls from elderly residents who can't leave their apartment, who wanted somebody to come by and give them a shot, and that's difficult right now because, the Department of Health doesn't have the resources just to go out and do onesie twosies. They're trying to, they'll set up an area. So in those cases, Chris and I talked about, there was a couple of folks that were willing to help, elderly residents and potentially take them, to the site where they can get the vaccine. So unfortunately, I think if you're immobile right now, it's difficult, because, the amount of resources are getting allocated to a bulk vaccination distribution strategy right now. Mm-hmm. But look, again, I equate it to the masks. I believe in the coming months, it's going to all play out. It's just, it's only 3 weeks old now. And of course, everybody hears about it, everybody sees it, and everybody wants it. So, but I do believe that, I'm optimistic that, that we can, that in time, we're going to make it happen. So, but I will keep the city manager informed as far as what I know, and we can go from there. Yeah.
And that the city can hopefully make some effort to facilitate in any way or accommodate to the extent that, the city's in that position, whether it's transportation to, let's say I'm aware of a new site opening up in the Mount Sinai Aventura Hospital, right? Or the Mount Sinai Aventura, right? So to the extent that the city can in any way, whether it's through logistics or so forth, that, we're going to put a concerted effort at the city level to see how we can best accommodate the distribution or transport for that, right?
So we'll see, yeah, we'll do our best. But, the real issue is they got to get the appointment and then it's got to not be canceled. That's tough right now, because I had, about 950 workers scheduled and they got canceled the night before.
Wow.
And they all had to travel. So, and again, I feel bad, but feel bad for the state, but they run out, they run out. They can't judge, the public, they can't judge, how many folks are going to show up at a site sometimes, but they've come back around and, and my folks are, they're working, they're working hard. There's no doubt. So, that's the, that's as much as I know, from my vantage point. I see a comment by Carla Mast, 310 Poinciana Island Drive. Any help getting an appointment for my 95-year-old aunt is appreciated. Okay, I'll send you a couple of links, Carla, to the hospital websites that might still be scheduling. So we'll see. So that's all there is to print on vaccinations tonight, I can tell you. So, it's been something. Okay. Any other discussion around that item? And Vice Mayor, thank you for bringing it up. Because like you said, we can't talk about it. Unfortunately, I haven't talked to you guys about any of this, because of sunshine, because we got to vote on something, to set up a distribution site or anything of that nature, So I'll try to keep Chris as, tightly informed as I can. And then, he can let you know, at least what's going on from my standpoint. So Mauricio.
We have one public speaker. 1 second, Mayor. Rumi, go ahead. Your name and address for the record, please.
Yes.
Go ahead, Rumi.
Okay. 220 186th Street. I want to say about the vaccine. I hear the mayor what says, and he's right. Nobody know. The vaccine is not enough. And I can tell you, because the first priority to get vaccine is healthcare worker, and they do not have enough. I know people, Memorial Hospital, they do not have vaccinate all of them. Who can, who cannot? So the people working with the patient, they supposed to be priority. But like the mayor says, distribution, priority is they working with the COVID. They supposed to have first, any other. But I think we have to be more patient, because after that, the vaccine is gonna be plenty. But to be more disciplined, because I see people with no mask in our area here, the shopping center, they're going with no mask, no distance, nothing. I think has to have something, some action for these people not responsible, because nobody know who is sick. People have the virus, but they don't have symptoms. So the most important, everybody to wear mask and to have a distance, and especially in our area, I'm sure everybody can see it with no mask. That's supposed to be obligation. They have to receive some ticket, like ticket, if the police stop you for the speeding, you get ticket. If somebody with no mask has to have some ticket, something, because people are not responsible. That's my conclusion. They don't care. I don't have vaccine. It's not easy to get scheduled, but I do not complain. I'm gonna wait. My point is, who is priority? Like the mayor says, working people with how many, and that's its priority. The same as hospital. Hospital supposed to be first. So we have to, I'm sorry to say, but Everybody want it, but at the moment, who can, who cannot, is not like the mayor says, he don't know the distribution, what can say? Everybody want it, but we have to
Thank you, Rumi.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Rumi. So Rumi, you must be reading my data from OneBlood, because the asymptomatic rate, the asymptomatics in the last week statewide, these are people that that don't believe they ever had COVID and come to donate blood, is at 16%.
Yep.
Dade County, okay, Miami-Dade County in December had an asymptomatic week of about almost 30%. So that means that 30% of the people that believe they never had COVID actually had it and didn't know it. So to Rumi's point, you know, it's incredibly important to wear your mask, socially distant, wash your hands, you know, vaccine or no vaccine, doesn't matter. Because it's going to take a while, you know, for enough people to get vaccinated to where we can start to push past this. And then, you know, we don't know if the vaccine's going to work on the variants. I mean, I can start parading a million horribles, but the fact is that, you know, Rumi's right. I mean, I think that, you know, we've got to be vigilant about mask wearing. We've got to be vigilant about, you know, about everything, you know, that we can do to stay, to keep combating the virus. So, I mean, I've been preaching this every meeting, so that's nothing new, but it's pretty interesting. And listen, you know, we're very fortunate in South Florida to have everything relatively open. There's a lot of parts of the country where, you know, it's not like that. In Europe, it's not like that at all. I can tell you, you know, my son-in-law, you know, is in Italy, the whole society shut down again because they had another wave. So it's up to us, you know, it's up to all of us to behave and adhere, you know, to what we need to do to keep our economy moving as well. So, you know, I mean, it's a mess, but there's things we can do, as Rumi's pointing out, you know, and we should all be doing them. So, okay. Thank you, Rumi. Any other comments, Mauricio? You're on mute.
Not for this item, Mayor, sorry.
Okay, so we're going to move on.
Before we move on, I believe the Vice Mayor did ask for a motion for this to be turned into a resolution. So we can just have motion for that.
Well, it's a discussion item, so I've got no issue it becoming a resolution. Anybody have an issue with it becoming a resolution? No. Okay. You got your support, Vice Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Mauricio, let's go on to the Citizens Forum. And I see something here from Bianca Lama.
Yes.
Do you want to read that?
Yeah, so her comment is, I was wondering if the parks would be able to close at 10 p.m. at summer because it's too hot to go earlier than 7, and if it can also close at 10 on the weekends.
Susan, you want to speak to that issue?
Hold on. Okay.
Certainly. We actually had looked into this a little bit before, and then that got put on hold because of COVID, when we actually had reduced the hours. So we've put the hours back to what we were originally at, the 9 o'clock closing. We can look into the 10 o'clock option again. I can tell you that we had, when we first looked into it, we had a little bit of pros and cons. We had some people giving a little pushback who live near there who did not want lights on that late, or, you know, hearing, you know, noises all the way until 10 o'clock. So we will look into that issue again.
But it sounds to me if Bianca was concerned about 7, 9 o'clock might be a reasonable compromise.
We are at 9 o'clock now, yes.
Okay, all right. So maybe, that's good. So very good. I hope that answers Bianca's question. Mauricio, do we have any other comments from the Citizens Forum?
Yes, we have just 2 more. The first one comes from Leonard Spivak. His address is 175 Atlantic Boulevard. And it reads, I think that Sunny Isles authorities must react finally to anti-sanitary situation that's taking place on Atlantic Boulevard in the back of the Aquilina parking lot. There are unknown amounts of cats and other animals living at the lot, walking and crossing the streets. This is a large, complete epicenter zone for all possible infections and diseases that are daily spread in the area. Additionally, from time to time, dead animal smell stays in the air for several days. Residents and guests are passing this place all day long, including children going to school. Personally, we always go around the block to avoid the space, as we are afraid to catch something there and get sick. I am sure that all the appropriate Sunny Isles Health Department authorities are aware of it. It just can't be continuously happening. Hoping someone will address the issue and stop it. Sincerely, Leonard.
Okay, if I can speak, Mr. Mayor, I don't know if Claudia is still on, but we are well aware of the situation there. It is not an area that we're allowing feeding there. The property owner is against it. The city is not acknowledging that area as a feeding area for the cats, and we have designated certain ones. So we are working on it. Claudia, you want to add anything onto that?
Sure. We just received signs, and we're going to be placing them within the next coming weeks. We have city manager have designated an area close by for a feeding station. So hopefully, the cats will be able to start being fed in another locations. So hopefully we will minimize. And also another important part of the program is actually the trapping. So hopefully we are trapping the animals, spay them and neuter them so they cannot continue multiplying.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris and Claudia. Mauricio? Anything else?
Yes, and the last one is from Keith Oliver. Address is 15645 Collins Avenue. And his comment reads, good evening, everyone. Tonight, I'd like to commend and thank Visual, our new park landscapers, and O'Leary Landscape Design for our ongoing city park beautifications, especially in our Gateway Park Butterfly Garden, where future plant ID signs and online garden maps may be introduced concurrently with Gateway Park Community Center grand opening. Your butterfly garden signs and online map to identify plants in our garden will be a great educational tool for our public to enjoy. Along with replenished plants and topsoil, future visualized enhancements include a colorful 3D garden sidewalk mural and auto-activated outdoor speakers playing relaxing nature sounds accompanied by soothing instrumental music to mask 163rd traffic noise. Mr. Mayor, thank you for 2 years ago, you believed in adding topsoil to the mostly limestone soil and rock in our garden plant beds. Today, the topsoil is helping our butterfly garden trees and bushes by developing much deeper roots, flowers, and healthy green branches. The butterfly garden is a free attraction with many host flowers as special, unique, and colorful amenity of our great city. Director Sylvia Flores and Park Manager Federico Retana should be appreciated for helping to make Gateway a truly special butterfly garden. Daily visitors now see different butterfly species within a minute of their arrival. It is a pleasure to watch children seeing butterflies up close for the first time. Thank you, commissioners, for believing, enjoying, and supporting our continued butterfly garden enhancements. Keith Lawrence. And that is it, Mayor.
All I can say is I want Keith's conviction, because he is, Keith is passionate about what he's interested in, and I think it's wonderful. So thank you, Keith. I wish I had the same passion for the things I'm interested in. So
can I say, Mayor? I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know if Keith is listening, but he certainly is very passionate. He's given me plants to plant by my house to attract butterflies, and I have done so. So I appreciate his consistency and his real love of nature and butterflies. So if you're listening, Keith, thank you.
No, and I think it's been great for the city. I mean, none of us were educated in these things, and clearly, he's a Zen master when it comes to butterflies. So, okay. Any other comments, Mauricio?
No, Mayor, that's it.
We're good. Okay, I will take a motion to adjourn. Okay. Every month is going to be better this year. That's all I can say. Month by month, we're going to see great improvement. So I want to thank everybody. Please wear your mask, wash your hands, socially distance, don't touch your face. But every month's going to be better. So thank you and welcome to 2021. Thank you, everyone.